into the light. Slowly heal the darkness in my heart. I hear you now. A taste was all I needed. I feel your love, loud and clear to the end. It's you and me, I'll breaks my heart. There's a voice that is calling. It's calling for me to go beyond where I've always been longing. I'm longing.
How are we doing? Happy Wednesday. I'm actually doing it without in-ear monitors because I have them currently packed down on the floor. I'll show it in a minute. Because tomorrow morning I'm getting up early to go on a long drive to Manchester because my band is starting our UK tour, which is just 4 dates for now, but we've got an album launch early next year when there'll be a much bigger series of events. So I'm buzzing. Still need to do a bit of packing. Mainly just clothes and that. I've got some like black shirts and jeans because our uniform on stage is just plain black. We do it because it looks uniform. It looks good to all be dressed in plain black, but also it means when you want to do promo videos, it's a lot easier because then you don't have to worry so much about continuity because we'll always be wearing the same kind of thing. Huge thank you for joining me. I want to give a big shout out again to JS. Wow, here's a name I've not seen in a long time from the early days of YouTube. I hope you're doing good. It's always wonderful to see people pop up, and it's one of the reasons I do this weekly live show, just to kind of reintroduce myself as I get back to making regular content again. I'll close the unimportant things. Yeah, I've actually got my in-ear monitors packed, and I actually bought a second pair, but I can talk about that in a bit as well. Look, there's quite a lot I want to go through in today's live show. The topic is overcoming adversity, and that can be dealt with in a number of ways. Firstly, I always like talking about mental health. I think there's a lot we can learn from each other. It's always a really great, honest conversation in the chat when we do, so that will be a part of it. Secondly, my band launched a new single today called New Vision, which is all about overcoming adversity. Now, some of you have been astute and recognised that it is a music video that appeared on my channel a few years ago, and that is true because it was a part of a previous EP that we released. But upon working on this album, we realised the song worked well for this album, and so we took it down. The song itself got mixed again, so it's got a much bigger and better sound to go with the album. And also, the music video originally was uploaded to my YouTube channel because we thought it'd be good to get it to a new audience. But the thing with our music is it's an acquired taste, and it didn't get universal love, should I say. There was a lot of dislike, and probably a lot of people horrified hearing how aggressive I can sound. So it is now on New Vision. I love that. It is on our band's YouTube channel, and it's a great way just to launch the tour as well. But yeah, it was inspired by my head injury from about 6-7 years ago and what the recovery process was like. So I felt that fits in very well with the theme. And then thirdly, as you may have seen in the description of this live show, it's not just necessarily about the personal, it's also about the macro. It's about the big adversities that we face as collectives, as societies, as as a world as a whole, and that will include, the current climate crisis. Because each week, the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about COP26 and whether, I was going to do a full episode on it, and I kept saying how I was undecided on it. And I'm kind of glad I didn't do it the last couple of weeks, because until the very last minute at COP26, there was some changes made to the final declaration document, which was incredibly disappointing. So, we'll talk a bit about that as well. But as always, if you ever have any questions or things, just throw it in the chat. I'll bring it up. I love that Mojo always uses our hashtag Unite with the hourglass. Although you've used the wrong hourglass, Mojo. See, what? This is not me criticising. I just find this quite interesting. So the hourglass Mojo has used is time is up. Time is up. There's no time left. There is no time left at all. Whereas the other one, there's still a bit of time trickling. And that's the one for the album cover, which I can show again a bit later. What? I know. Outrageous. I love Mojo dearly, so she knows I'm just being playful. Hey, Emma. It's good to see you here. Hope you're doing well. And thank you, Callie. If anyone else is watching right now and has never said hey before, please do. Please do. No, you don't need to apologise. I thought it was quite good to talk about it, because it's a good opportunity to talk about why it's there. And actually, I do have some quotes from the artist of our album artwork that I could go through, talking about why he used the artwork the way he did. We talked about it on our launch, our Voices launch live stream, but we can go through it again. No, I appreciate that. And JS, it's good to see you still here. I was wanting to make sure you heard my message when I said thank you for stopping by. So, with all that said, just a bit of housekeeping underway. And if you ever want to stay in tune, this is especially for JS and anyone else watching, Instagram is where I'm most active. Although saying that, I've not really posted much the last couple of weeks. I mentioned on a story last night, I've just been feeling quite emotionally exhausted. I've had a lot going on in my life, some really good stuff, some really bad stuff, and just sometimes you feel a bit and that's fine, you move through it. And so I've just been sort of taking a break from it all, and the tour over the next 4 days is going to feel really, really good. I'm really excited about it. Get to spend it with guys I truly love, and I think that says a lot about when it comes to being in a band. It's not just a group of people getting together and just playing together. It's creating music is a very personal thing, and so you do have some camaraderie within that. And sometimes you have members that you clash with. You hear lots of stories about bands that don't get along, and that's because it is a personal experience. And so it's a real blessing to be in a band with people that I regard as best friends, and to share a stage and really put something out there that is all about connectivity and unity. We're really excited to take that message across the country. Do you block people when you are feeling like that? Do you know I never block people on any platform? The only time I've ever blocked people is when they're like spam accounts, or if they're threatening. That's about it, really. And even when they're threatening, sometimes I might mute them, and that's just because I don't want to sort of antagonise. Right, let's go full screen. I say full screen, there's still a bit of a border. So I hope you all had a really, really good week. I'm trying to think what order we should do this in. Maybe I could pose the question to you about what do you all do to overcome adversity, and like what has adversity been in your life? And I'm not expecting you to put your answers in the chat now. I'm just putting it out there for you to have a think about that question, because what I will do first is talk about my band's new single, New Vision, because it'll be a good way of getting into the topic. But we have this that came up today in the Moshville Times, which is a great name for a website. Schemata Theory releases new video and tour this week. There we are, in all black, see? Unified. Schemata Theory have released a video for New Vision, the second single to be lifted from their upcoming new album, Unity in Time. The track showcases another flavour of the raw energy the band deliver on the new record and delves into the personal subject matter of vocalist Myles Dyer's battle with his mental health following a near-fatal accident. And that's the artwork. If I click it, does it actually go full screen? Let's have a look. Yeah, so that's the artwork we were talking about. And it's an iris, I believe. And it's the idea that in the last moments we have to, you know, the last moments of time, there is one last shoot of hope and unity in time. And what I love is there's loads of symbolism in this imagery. And, you know, I can talk about this because, you know, it wasn't created by me. I'm a real admirer of the artist. But it's the fact that, like, in the hourglass, you know, you got the crack and the light coming in at the top, and then you've got like the dirt coming out at the bottom. But also it's the fact that the hourglass is an infinity symbol as well. There's a lot of imagery there. Really, really powerful stuff. What's this? I eat a lot of chocolate and crisps and cried done it a lot. Oh. What crisps and what chocolate? I want to know. Right, back to the article. Okay, so this was something that I wrote for the article for the press, right? So I put, this song emerged from a very difficult chapter in my life in which I suffered a head injury that took years to recover from. Straight after the accident, I stayed at home alone to recover from the intense post-concussion symptoms, during which every aspect of my life was decimated. I stopped working, socialising, engaging with Schemata Theory. My physical and mental fitness declined. It was dreadful. As days turned into weeks, into months, into years, I was fortunately able to work my way out of it eventually. But the path to recovery was a terrifying one, because I never saw the end to it. New Vision acknowledges the horrible sense of limbo one feels when in the deepest realms of depression, whilst highlighting the importance of mental tenacity and the relief of finally coming out of it. The journey is never easy, but by sharing experience, hopefully it will bring comfort to those currently on the road to mental and or physical rehabilitation. Mental health means different things to different people. Thus, the band wanted a video that was simple, giving focus to the words and music that drives this message of recovery. Watch it below. And then it says, following the release, we head out on a 4-date headline run. So tomorrow we're playing in Manchester at Grand Central. Then we're playing in Workington in the Lake District at Lounge 41, also called Skinny Jimmy's. Then on Saturday, the 20th, we're playing in Middlesbrough at Dr. Brown's. And then a week on Friday, on the 26th, we're playing a hometown show in Reading at Face Bar. Now, those first 3 dates, Manchester, Workington and Middlesbrough, if you can get to them, entry is free. It's free entry. It's a free show. So if you can get parking, if you can get a train, come down. It'll be amazing to see you. We've got lots of amazing merch that's going to be there. It's going to be really great atmospheres, and it'll just be cool to chat and talk and hang out and enjoy a good live, local music scene. Our hometown show, there are tickets. I believe, don't quote me on this, I think they're like £5.80, and they can be found on our website, schematatheory.com/tour. Right, let's go full screen. Let me find out. I wanted to find out the important stuff about the anything I can get my hands on. Kettle crisps, I found help when it involves men. Kettle chips are really, really, really good. I had some red wine and some popcorn, sweet and salted. Oh, the good mix. The good mix. It was good. It was good. Sorry, I hate it. Sometimes when you pick up your drink, your coaster sticks to it, and then before you can grab it, it already falls to the ground and causes a massive smack. Oh, man. I can't wait for the international dates too. I mean, I would love to get to a point where we can finally do it. But yeah, it is what it is. And by the way, if anyone's tuned in from the Schemata Theory Instagram account, hello, good to see you. Join the chat. Or you can just sit there and watch. Not going to judge you. You can do whatever you want. So, There was a mistake last time when I played voices on the live stream. I used the like 3 gigabyte file, and the broadcast system really struggled, understandably, to stream it. So I've rendered a 200 megabyte version of this video. And this video was filmed against this wall. I filmed it against this wall. I had a camera mounted there. Actually, this one. I literally filmed it on this. And I left it running, played the music again and again. And me and Luke were stood against that wall. And I'll talk a bit about it afterwards. I'll let you just take it in. I would love to come to Glasgow. So when we organise a tour for early next year with the album, I want one of our shows to be in Scotland. And I know some promoters up there, so hopefully we can organise it. That would be amazing. I love Glasgow. So yeah. So with that said, let's see what. Here we go. We ready for the video? Do you know what? I've not actually got it queued up, so I'm gonna have to pause whatever video this is. Yeah. So that was a complex slate, which is fine, but we are going to put a different video on. Choose file. Here we go. And I'll take myself off camera as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is New Vision.
Life can hurt much more than death, but each day is a chance to regain. I've been given another chance to try and lie. New vision. Don't be blinded by indecision. Some life will never revive
So there we go. New Vision. If you have any questions about the song, feel free to ask. There are some that I'm going to bring up now. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the tour as well. And I've got some of the equipment with me because when I was going for a walk with my dad earlier today, I was talking about some of the gear. And I even was kind of amazed about what technology does as I was talking about it. So I could share that with you as well. A lot of you are probably wondering what the tippy toes thing is. So I mentioned before that, and on my Instagram, that when I'm in the studio, you can adjust the height of the microphone, yeah? So you can make sure you're comfortable. But when I'm in the studio, I like having it a bit higher, and I like being on my tiptoes and like leaning into it as I'm, projecting. And I don't know why it is. I don't know. We all have little quirks in that, but I just think it's something about leaning into it. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just something that I've always done. In terms of that video, I don't think so. I think there are some times where I can't get the tripod the right angle and I might do it. But I mean, I'm bouncing around, but I'm not on tiptoes. I think the tiptoe thing, it's a real like leaning into it kind of action. And I'm just doing that because like I have the headphones on and I'm like grabbing it like that. So yeah, that's what I think about it. Callie says, I think I'm getting more into your music. Not that I have not liked it, but it sort of takes you back to earlier times in my life. And well, it might help me answer your adversity question. Okay. Anyway, right now your music is growing me more. And that's cool, And this is the thing about music is there was a video on YouTube in which someone was reacting to our video and he really liked it. And when I went to comment and thank him for it, there were like 3 comments already, and all of them were like, liked it, but the screamer guy, horrible. And I felt like I needed to acknowledge it because it'd be a bit weird commenting and then like, sort of ignoring it. And I just said to those that didn't like my vocals, totally respect that, like I'm not overly defensive. Like there's an acquired taste for a lot of things, and some people aren't going to like what I do. And that's totally cool. Like people are entitled to their opinion, and I totally respect that. So, what has always surprised me about my band is the wide appeal we seem to have with people that aren't normally into metal, and I just think it is because of the wide range of influences we have, and also, there's a lot of rock elements. Like we have a lot of hard rock elements to us. But there's no doubt metal elements, and my stuff can get really, really heavy. And what's really interesting is in the breakdown, and for those of you that don't know what a breakdown is when it sort of like gets really chuggy, and it's the dun dun dun, and it like really makes it's the parts that everyone wants to bang their heads to. But it was after the solo, and I'm really going for it, and I'm doing the more shouty vocals. Now that was a part of a song that I would normally struggle with, because it's not just you're having to project your vocals, you're moving around on the stage, and on that bit I am jumping, so when it kicks in it's like you really go for it. And I used to really struggle with it, but because of the song Voices and what that taught me as a vocalist, I now find New Vision, I mean we practiced it, we had our last rehearsal on Monday, and New Vision, it's so good. I mean, I enjoy playing them all, but New Vision was always a song that I felt I could always do more for, and it now is just like really impactful. So that's really, really exciting. I love that there's still conversations about the kettle chips, which is important, by the way. I will never shame discussion about food. And this is about the music, I'm assuming, not the kettle chips. Yeah, you posted before the kettle chips. Fair enough on the tippy toe thing. Vegeta, I mean Myles, yeah. I mean, this is actually my workout top, but I've been a bit lazy today in terms of, I mean, you can't smell me. I don't actually smell that bad, but I haven't showered today because I literally woke up and all that's been on the agenda was getting the launch ready. So I literally got out of bed, came into my office, did it. Then I did some laundry and lots of clearing out. And then I went for a walk with my dad, and then loaded my car with a lot of gear. And then I got back, and then I've just been doing housework because my plan is make my home as nice as possible. So when I come back from tour, I've got a nice home to come back to. But yeah, good to see you as well. Thank you. Music does save you. Oh, here we go. Count me in. I never listened to metal. That's really, really awesome. Are any of you guys... Killswitch Engage? Yeah, no, definitely. Killswitch Engage and Jesse Leach. Actually, Howard Jones as well. Both really good vocalists. I won't get too into it because of... people won't know what we're talking about, but like both really great vocalists. But Jesse Leach was always one of my favourites because a quality I love in vocalists is conviction. Like, you can be a really great vocalist that hits all the notes, has a powerful voice, but there are sometimes, you know, vocalists that may not have all that, but when they sing or scream, you can hear that they mean it, and that's what really speaks to me. It's why I love Coven with Katie, who's the vocalist. Like, the tone of her voice, you can hear it, and that's been really a driving factor with a lot of what we do. And I always pride myself with trying to have decent diction, because there's a song that the opening like track, not the intro track, but the track 2, the first main track on our debut album called Perish or Prevail. The lyric is, a dark day comes with the sunrise. And the producer says, it sounds like a dark day comes with a side of rice. And you can't unhear it. And I'm someone who used to do a lot of misheard lyric videos for metal artists. So I totally get it. And you can do it with, you know, normal singing as well. But yeah, there's definitely that. Hey Sam, good to see you here. Are the tippy toes about throwing your emotion more intensely into music and perhaps feeling more cathartic too? I think so. It's one of those things of like, I kind of knew it at the time just because I was asked, you know, you can lower the microphone. I was like, I don't know, because when it's like lowered and I'm like flat-footed on the floor, you lean into it. But like, I'd say like, try it now while I'm talking to you. Like, if you're like trying to lean into something while flat-footed and then you try and lean into something while on your tiptoes, there's just a different energy to it. And I'm sure there's Amy Cuddy does the whole thing about fake it until you become it, about power poses. You know, start your day by doing that, or, you know, putting your hands on your waist for like 2 minutes because it reduces your cortisol levels and it gives you endorphins and it boosts your body's physiology, which impacts your mental state. And there must be something to it as well. It's why that whenever people like win a competition, whether they're athletes or performers, it's like a universal thing. They all put their hands up. It's like the reaching out. So that must be something to do with it. I did get to listen to... Did I get to listen to it? I'm pretty sure I did. But remind me on Instagram afterwards. I need to go back on Instagram. About Killswitch Engage. Yeah, Howard was incredible. A writing workshop. Do you know what? I'm up for doing that. That's a great idea. I don't know if I have my notepad on me. Here we do. The irony of mentioning writing workshop and I didn't have something to write with. Right, I've just written that down. I'll add that to the list of live show ideas. Thank you, Emma. And by the way, if anyone has any ideas for future live shows, let me know because I'm all ears. Sorry, I'm really catching up here. Well, rice is a good start to the day. Yeah, the importance of writing does help a lot when you can't speak it out loud. When I was dealing with trauma about an experience that happened to me 10 years ago, my therapist got me to write a letter to myself. And I was like, what? Do I say like, Dear Myles? Do I talk in third person, or do I talk as if I'm writing... Am I writing a letter saying this is what happened to me? Or do I say, Myles, this is what you did, or this is what happened? And it was the latter. And then my therapist got me to read it out during a session. And I prefaced it by saying this feels ridiculous, but I'm totally like committed to the methods that have been presented. And I tell you what, it really, really helped. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Really, really glad. I'm going to talk a bit more about the lyrics in a moment. I'm just still going through a lot of this. I often work out issues by writing it into fiction. Okay, that's cool. We should definitely talk, Emma. We should definitely talk. I am thinking about having guests come on for future shows. So yeah, I'm always open to that kind of thing. So right, New Vision. Do you know what? I could actually bring it back up again, but I'll mute it and I'll just put myself on. So, 1 second.
Life can hurt much more than death.
Right, can you hear me? Yeah, I think that's working now, and then I can put myself on. Here we go. So, just talking a bit about this, right? So, we had it as a really stripped down video. It was obviously one that I did myself. And initially, it was just a video of us performing to the camera. And my directions were basically for Luke and I to... We did like... I think we did like 5-6 playthroughs each of the song. Which, when you think it's a 4-minute song, it does add up. It's a lot. And I kind of mentioned that for the song... do one. I think the side ones we were like do calmly, and then we're like one straight head, like just completely like not emotionless, but kind of just telling the story. And then there were ones where it's like, and now just absolutely go for it, full energy. And it's just to like show the different intensities of emotion. Also, if I scroll right back to the beginning. The thing about this song is the opening lyrics are incredibly dark, which is life can hurt much more than death. Like, I've always been very mindful that that is an incredibly dark lyric, but I think it's something a lot of people relate to, which is mental pain and struggle can sometimes be unbearable. And death is the idea of ending it. But it's then benchmarked with... And also these are like... This is taking 2 halves of the chorus out. But each day is a chance to regain. And I think that is... This whole video is about benchmarking the different sides of dealing with adversity. It's... And there was a video that I did on my YouTube channel... let me pull it up, actually. It was when I was going through my head injury. Let me load it up now. And it was when I was not in a good place. Here we go. Let's have a look. All the way. It was quite a while ago. Wow, it really was a long time ago. Yeah, Life Goes On and So Should You, it was called. Screen. 6 years ago. Well, I say 6 years ago. It was February the 7th, 2015. So this was me. God, it's weird being in this office space when the desk was like just to the side of me. But it was me talking about how I'm not in a good place. But I feel like I'm on the road to recovery, and I was not well in here. But and I was just talking about I know I'm going to get out of this, but right now I do not see how I'm going to get out of this. This feels like eternal. And then one of the last vlogs I did was called "I'm Finally Happy." Oh, was it? Hey everyone. Yeah. Look how much better I look. It's like night and day. So this was 2018. And something I said in this video was I wish I could go back in time, metaphorically speaking, and give myself a hug and say, I'm from the future. You've made it out of this. I know you can't see it now, but I've done it. And I was very, very relieved in this because it honestly felt like I was never going to get out of it. And so that's a real big part of New Vision. And actually, funny enough, when New Vision was written, I was out of a stage of it. But then I look back now and realise actually I was still on the path of progress. I still had a long way to go. So there was definitely that. So yeah, so we're performing against this wall at different intensities. And the first verse all been about, you know, I've been given a new chance to stride in life. Don't be blinded by indecision. survival, another revival, savor your time. And it's the idea of like, time is precious. We don't know how long it's going to be, and you've just got to kind of make the most of what time gives you. So here's the chorus: life can hurt much more than death. So there's 2 dark lines and then there's 2 light lines. So life can hurt much more than death. How long till our final breath? Now, final breath is actually a common theme in a lot of our music. There was a song called Final Breath on our debut album. And it's, I don't know, it's weird. Like, sometimes you look back on reflection and you realize that there are reoccurring, not just themes, but like phrases that you use. And final breath has come up quite a lot. And I think it's just the idea that the breath, when we think about meditation and being grounded, like the breath is an anchor in life, and a final breath is like that gasp of like, what is it about? I mean, the last 2 lines on our debut album are last breath of air, I die alone and scared. And it, because the first album was all about global catastrophe with climate change and stuff like that, and us not doing anything about it, which it's like 8 years old now, and it feels like even more prevalent now. But then the second 2, the third and fourth line, but each day is a chance to regain. Dreams our hearts and minds contain. And again, hearts and minds, there's a lot in this album. In Voices, cells divide, but hearts and minds can unify in time. I always like sort of drawing distinctions between the heart, the mind, and sometimes the soul, because these are different things. So my heart wasn't feeling I was getting out of it when I was enduring adversity, but my mind didn't think it either, but like the rational part was. I mean, that's the difficult thing about what the heart and mind is and how you distinguish between the two. So the second verse, now I realise what really matters to me most. And this is kind of like coming out of it. New mindset. Don't be halted by a sense of regret. And that was the idea that when I was going through my recovery, it was very, very common to go through these phases of being like really regretful of wasting time. Like, look at all these years I've been stuck at home recovering from this injury. Like, how am I ever going to play catch up? And so this song isn't just about me saying, hey, I've learned this, listen to me. It's more like me telling myself as well. And I was actually joking last night on Instagram that I'm going through a rough patch mentally at the moment. And I was like, well, this song, I should probably take note of it. So now stronger, I live longer. And it's always the big thing. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So now stronger, I live longer, feel space and time. And the feel, space and time, I always think of Interstellar. Because isn't the line in Interstellar something like, the only thing that transcends time and space is love? I love those measurements of reality, time and space. And so it says, you know, feel space and time. Don't just exist within space and time, but feel it. And it's like when you meditate, or, you know, Shinrin Yoku, going out into forest bathing, you know, the space and time is 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm in a forest. I'm in this space, in a forest, at 2:00 in the afternoon, that is the time. And feel it. And that is what life is about. It's about feeling it, acknowledging what you're surrounded by. By the way, I have been looking at all the comments, and Bex, really appreciate that. I'm just having a quick read up to make sure I haven't. Lots of great conversations. Also, like, I'm happy for you just to discuss amongst yourself stuff as well. Looking into the soul is a concept that mildly freaks me out, perhaps because I think the soul acts as the center of the onion ring, and I spend a lot of time in the middle of the layers. I mean, when it comes to reality and stuff like that, it is an interesting one. There's also a really cool thing coming up on our album, which I will mention now, just because one of the songs, the song that ends on the album, is one that was on our last EP. I know Mojo loves Horror Show. It's the last track on our album. The track listing is out now. But there's a line that Luke sings in Voices, which is the opening track, which is show all hands. You know, it's like, reveal all your hands, show them to the world. Like it's a sign of openness. Show all hands, and then the last line of the album in Horror Show is it's in our hands. And I just think it's a really powerful way to end the album, because it's about going through all these things about inner struggles, personal struggles, but it's also about the global picture. But regardless of what it is, it's in our hands. It's just sometimes we don't see it. No worries, Emma. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. So, yep, we have the solo. And what I love is, so what happened was I filmed all this. I did the black and white stuff, and I felt like we need to do more than this. And so we got in contact with a friend of the band, and he did all the text and like the lyrics, and I just love what he did, because it just gave it a really good energy. And like in this bit where there's the solo, it was just us, like, you know, throwing ourselves around and stuff. And what I loved was he kept bringing up the words stronger, healed, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, this was the bridge that Luke sings before the second chorus, and then I scream it. So when we have broken hearts and souls. So here we go. It goes back to the whole issue about, you know, the mind, the souls, the heart. So when we have broken hearts and souls, can be healed by all we know. And it goes back to that thing about inner knowledge. Like, it can be healed. It's all within us. It's about connecting the dots. So it's about inner empowerment. You continue down the road, and then very classic line, but important, realize you are not alone. New vision, new mindset, and then it's the final chorus. And yeah, it's just like, it is one of my favorite songs. And one of the reasons I really like it is, although we're a metal band, I think it has a bit of a pop punky feel to it with the chorus, like the fast drums and the guitar. But yeah, and I love what the guy did at the end, because at the end it was just me like moving away from the camera, and then he just thought, oh, I'll put the logo behind it. I'll put the band's badge. This bit. That is such a cool thing. Such a cool thing. So anyway, that's New Vision, and we'll be playing it on tour. So if you're coming to any of our shows, the words are all there. Learn them. Sing along with us. It'll be really, really, really great. So, yeah. Oh, wow. 3 a.m. Yeah, definitely hit the pillow. Yeah, he did a really great job with the text. We were really, really impressed with it. Because with lyric videos, you know, you can do very average ones. And then you can do ones where there's like stuff coming in and like the camera's moving into a lyric, and, you know, and all that's great. But for a one where it's just us performing and it's sort of coming out, it's very visceral. And, you know, we were just very, very proud of that. I am mindful of how quickly time has gone in today's show. We have 15 minutes left. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. But do you want me to talk a little bit about the equipment thing I was mentioning, about what I'm taking on tour with me? You can say no. You can say no. I've just been sent the... Yeah, I've just been sent the timing sheet for the tour. Go for it. I love it. Go for it. No, then I love it. You wanna bring it up equal footings. So, when it comes to microphones, well, what's interesting about microphones is before the pandemic, it's like I don't think it's something that's overtly talked about, but for vocalists, you normally turn up to a gig and you use the microphones they've got, but you're literally like breathing over it. And if you've got an illness, like a cold or something, it's going to be on the microphone. And sometimes you hold it really close up. So it's always recommended, especially when you need to take care of your voice, that you should have your own microphone. So there's that. And because I always had the microphone that they would have at the shows, I did like leave it behind once at a show, and I was really, really annoyed. So I was like, clearly I need something more expensive where I'm less likely to do it. So I bought the Beta 58A Shure microphone. It is wireless. And so what it means is when I'm live, I take this little device, I track it to make sure it's got the right frequency, and then that gets plugged on the side of the stage where the microphone cable would normally go in. It goes in there. And then I just have to have batteries, and the batteries go into there, just two batteries there. And that is it. And do you know what? The psychology of not being tied to a cable is so liberating, because it means a lot of the time with a cable you've got a lot of room. But it's like if you're stepping down off the stage, if you can step down off the stage, it's like, is it going to get tangled in the with the monitors? You know, whereas now I can just be free, and it's been really liberating. So it was a really, really good investment. But the other thing I was going to talk about was my in-ear monitors. So they look like this. This is I bought a second box. Now, to get in-ear monitors, they're not just headphones. So what they're for is when we perform live, my best friend Hugh, who's on guitar and he's also doing vocals for this tour, he has a laptop that has everyone's tracks, like from the album, and we all have a pack that is, you know, bound to our backs, wireless, and then we have the cable that goes up the back, and then we've got in-ear monitors. And what it allows us to do is to change. I love this. Are you going to hang a member of the audience? So many cable issues. It means that we can choose our own mixes, because what would normally happen is I'd go to a show and I would have earplugs. So, right, and you can get earplugs that cut out the noise, the volume, but keeps the sound. But you put it in. But what it means is when you're playing live, you're listening out to the guitars, like the sound in the room. You can hear the drums, but you're sort of like listening off each other. And like if you, for one moment, can't hear something, you might turn just to see what was going on. And you might not do it in a sort of way, but just by looking round, that takes your attention away from the audience. And so in-ear monitors, we can choose what we hear, because again, if I had the just earplugs during sound check, you'd have unless you're lucky enough to take on tour with you a sound guy, which we hope to have at some point in the future. But if you have the venue sound person, they are doing the mix of your sound for the room, of what everyone hears out front, which is great. But also the monitors, you have those big speakers facing the band on stage, so you can hear yourself. And what it means is, Mario, who is on guitar to my right, he might be pointing down at it and saying, I need more, can I have some Myles in that? Can I have some more me in it? Or can I have some more Hugh's guitar in it? And you're constantly going up and down to get because every time you're starting from scratch. And it's why sometimes you see at shows, bands going, I need more me, or put me up. Like they're doing all this sort of stuff. And it means the sound guy is now is dealing with two things: the sound out front, but also the sound the band hears on stage. But also, just because the speaker is facing Mario, for example, on guitar, if I am between a monitor in the middle and his, and I'm sort of standing in between them, I'm getting like 2 sets of mixes, so that can be an issue as well. In-ear monitors mean that Hugh has done a brilliant job where we all have an individual mix. So I have, in my ears, I can hear myself, which is really good. It means I'm not straining. It means I can also hear the other vocalist. It means I can hear click, so I can hear the timing as well as the drums. And also I can hear guitar. But the guitarists, they can hear each other on guitar, but not their live guitar sounds, the guitar from the recording. And you might say, but why would you do that? It's because if anything goes wrong, you're still playing along to a tight sound of, what was on. It's a guide, basically. And it makes everything so much tighter. Now, my concern was if you've got in-ear monitors and you're listening to recordings from the album and stuff, does it take away from the energy of the room? Because you kind of want to be there. And I actually think it has the opposite impact. I think it enhances it because, one, you're still feeling the sound in the room hitting you. You're still seeing the audience. You can still see their reaction. But more importantly, because you've got the sound of whatever you want that's taken from the recordings, it's so clear that you really feel the music, and it means I think it's easier to sort of just get into the groove and move around the stage, because the first time we used it was at our last show in London in Camden, and it was the most fun I've ever had on stage, and I genuinely felt the most confident I ever did as a frontman, and it was just great. Just taking some of your questions. So Callie asked, are my ears getting better? So they are getting better. I've got some new eardrops, and I've got this little plunger thing, which I thought you press down and it sucked out your ear, but it doesn't. You put warm water in it and you squeeze it gently up your ear, and it washes out any clogged up earwax. Not to get too gross about it. So yeah, I'm still not fully there yet, but I'm gonna put some drops in before I go to sleep, and then hopefully, I'll be fine for the show. And are your in-ear monitors noise cancelling? It's not a daft question at all. So these are pretty noise cancelling. They go right in your ear, but the best you can get is moulded ones. But moulded in-ear monitors can be anything from £300 or $300 to over £1,000. So hopefully in the new year, I'm going to get some moulded ones. But these I got from off Amazon. They were like £40, and I did have to send some back. And when I got refunded, I bought some for the live show. And then when I got the refund, I was like, you know what, I'll buy them again. So I've bought 2. So I've got a spare, because especially if you're on tour, if they go down, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. I'm just having a look at these. That's awesome, Callie. So Callie is just talking about the emotion of the music and the connection with it. Yeah, and really, really appreciate that. No. Don't apologise for writing a lot. I love reading your comments, and I always welcome it. So no, thank you for that. So yeah, that's a bit of behind the scenes of kind of what we're preparing for. So got a long drive tomorrow to Manchester. Then going to Workington, which I hear is sort of not the middle of nowhere, but I think it's quite out there on the coast, and then Middlesbrough, and it's just going to be really, really good. So if any of you in the areas, head on over, because it's free entry, and we're headlining all the shows, and we're actually, I think the show we're playing in Manchester tomorrow, one of the bands is like I don't want to say death metal. They could be death metal. They're really, really heavy. Female vocalist, she can scream deeper than me, and I'm always so impressed with bands that can go that low. And I love seeing lots of metal bands with female frontmen now, just because there needs to be more diversity. Metal, and actually a lot of music was just white men, and so it's really, really good to see it getting mixed up. Don't forget your toothbrush. I love this. Yeah, so basically after this live show, got 5 minutes left. I've got to have dinner. I've got some a fruit bowl I need to eat. I need to eat lots of fruit. And I've got actually some edamame stir fry that I need to use in some way. So I won't have that together. I'll probably cook a bit of chicken or something like that. Actually, I've got some bacon, so I could probably use that, and an avocado. I'm just going to mix and match. And then I'm going to be packing my bags with clothes. Got lots of new jeans and that. The most expensive jeans are the ones that you get with the rips already put in, which is insane. But there you go. Yes, fruit. Yeah. So basically, what we've sort of said as a band is there's no guarantees we're going to be able to get any decent food once we're at the venue, because we'll be sound checking and then obviously speaking to the bands and stuff like that. And also, you don't want to eat too close to going on. I've done the whole eat a massive burrito and then you're like, oh, my diaphragm. So there's that. But I do intermittent fasting. So the way I normally have my meals, because I never used to be much of a breakfast person anyway, is I eat at midday, have a big meal, and then I eat a second big meal 8 o'clock at night. So I eat 8 hours apart, and then it's 16 hours of not eating at all, which sounds pretty difficult, but if you're eating at 8 o'clock at night and then you're sleeping, then you don't eat till midday. That's actually pretty doable. And so what I'm going to do for the tour is just shift everything. So tomorrow morning, actually I'll save the fruit for tomorrow morning. I'll have a bowl for breakfast. So I'll have a big fruit and muesli bowl tomorrow morning. And then I'll have a big lunch while on the road, stop off somewhere. And then when we're at the venue, don't have to worry about eating. I could have a snack if I find one. And then after we've played, if there's something open late night, then we'll do that, because we'll be staying at a hotel and stuff. So that's kind of what I've got in mind. So we're driving in cars. We don't have a van. Do you know, to rent a van for the weekend, it was like £700 just because of the current times. Fruit snacks, definitely. And thank you, Mojo. Really, really appreciate it. Please, anything about adversity. So on the point of dealing with adversity, I think depends on how heavy the adversity is. I've only been dealing with the low-level adversity in recent times and breathing, meditating. Yeah, it does. I spoke about it before about like enduring pain, because you always think, oh, this is unbearable. But if you're saying it's unbearable, it's the idea that you're looking into the future, because in the present, it might be pain, but you're enduring it now. And so it's kind of like perceiving stuff from a position of strength. But whenever you give any of these tips, it's not to say, oh, you just need to get over it. Like, these things aren't easy, but it's like, you've got to deal with it. And so what's the best way is doing it from a position of strength. But it is finding those routines. If I feel really fed up, I go to sleep, because I know when I wake up, I'll spend the first like 10, 15 minutes just totally like waking up and, you know, being totally unaware of how I was feeling the night before. And if you can get into a good routine of as soon as you wake up, make yourself a nice hot drink, have a shower, get into those little routines, that will make a huge, huge difference. And yes, walking, fresh air, eating cake. See, there's this idea of like you shouldn't really use food as a crutch. It's all about moderation, you know. Some people work out ridiculous to get over stuff, and, you know, you can work out too much, you can injure yourself. Same with food. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself, you know. But sometimes you can treat yourself to like spending some time, like get a recipe and make it. That can be really, really helpful. Oh, this is about the jeans. Make it your own. Well, that's why I've never bought them before. I was like, if I was going to do it. But to be honest, the reason I got those was I was after skinny jeans. And they were the only ones they had. Yeah, muesli's good. So the thing that my parents made me once, and then I've been stuck to it ever since, is I get kiwi fruit, chop it up, put it in, strawberries, blueberries, and then banana. And I put that in a bowl. Here we go. So it's like that. So kiwi fruit, blueberries, banana, strawberries. And then you put muesli on it, and then some Greek yogurt. And oh my goodness, it is tasty. Tasty. But I had that last night, and it takes a long time to get through. It was like proper eating it for half an hour. And then I was still hungry, so I made myself some soup with some bacon. Oh, to Blizz. Thank you for the super chat. Good luck with the tour. Enjoy. Can't wait to hear your impressions once it's done. Dude, amazing. And also, when I get back, next Monday there won't be, but my hope is that going into December, my podcast show is going to be back up and running. Our PR person for my band actually has some podcast guest ideas for my show. And yeah, I'm really, really excited for that. I've been annoyed that I've not been able to do one for a month, but it has taught me a valuable lesson, which is, I know I didn't want to do this, but when I start making podcast episodes again, just do them every other week. And if I was always worried about like recording an episode and then it being dated if I had to hang on for 2 weeks, but nah, it's fine. And not only that, if I record, 2 in a week or in 2 weeks, it just means I can just buy myself time for getting the other guests, because recently I've just been so stressed with a few things, and I've just been like really, really depressed that I haven't been able to get the podcast up and running again. So I'll definitely get there. Yes, it's different for everyone. Adversity, we find our own roots, but you can learn from other people. And just because people have felt the same way you do or have been in similar situations that you have, that doesn't take away from the fact that your combination of all these things is unique. And you need to be the person that decides, based on the experiences of others, what works for you. And sometimes it's trial and error. My own adversity has evolved and changed over the years. My ability to deal with particular things has changed. I'm more prone to burnout than ever, and normally I withdraw from the world. Interesting. Yeah, I'm more prone to burnout. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no, I think I am. Just a little cake. There we go. You've been working on a bowl of muesli this entire live stream. Muesli, I always wondered if it's one of those products where it's actually not what it is. It's the brand name. So like sellotape is sticky tape, but sellotape is the company. A vacuum cleaner in the UK, we often call them Hoovers, but it's just because that was the company. It was called a Hoover. I think gaffer tape. I think Gaffer is the name of the company as well. We used to like the big wheelie bins. We used to call Grundens at school, and it was actually because that was the company, Grunden. And I only realised that when I went to a different part of the country, and they had a different company that did it. Hey, Peking. You just peeking, are you? Good to see you here. That's really good. That's really, really good, Mojo. There we go. There we go. Indeed. Like morning radio. So, great. I was worried that we weren't going to have too much talk on adversity. We didn't talk about the climate again. I talked a bit about it earlier, about it was a bit disappointing. But we will get to that at some point. To be honest, I'd rather have too much to talk about than not enough. Am I going to meet Ian Crossland again? I would love to. I mean, I'm still connected with him on Facebook. Would be good to catch up with him. I know what he's up to now. It's very interesting, but he's always been an interesting individual. You're in the future, Thursday. Oh, yeah. So I will be leaving. I will have left by the time you're there. And definitely, close friends definitely do count for a lot. Oh, man, that's another topic. Long distance relationships. Just because I mentioned it, was it last week or the week before, that there was someone I was interested in? Well, I seem to be making a lot of progress. I'm in a stage now where we're both cautiously interested. We don't know until we meet up, but I'm over the moon. But I'm in that stage of like, not going to be able to meet up till January. Let's hope they don't get bored of me before then. So I've been doing a lot of research on long-distance relationships, like things you can do in the meantime and stuff like that. And there's some really interesting articles. And especially during COVID, long-distance relationships. And also living in a global world now with the internet, I think there's a really, really interesting conversations to be had there. So yeah, we'll do that. So I've written down the writing workshop as well that Emma mentioned earlier. And if you ever have any ideas, do let me know. Thank you, Mojo. Really, really, really appreciate it. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, do click that like button. Got 11 of you watching right now with 7 thumbs up. So if we could get 4 more of you to click the thumbs up, that would be great. And please, please, please head on over after this to my band's YouTube channel, to our New Vision music video, and just give it a like, and leave a comment with your thoughts. I'm just reading some of them now. Really appreciate it, Bex. And Mojo, thank you. Do you know the other thing that happens whenever my band has a show, and we've only ever played individual shows, we've never done like multiple times, consecutive days in a row, is I always worry about getting ill beforehand, which is not good for the voice. And I usually make myself ill from stressing out about it. So this time I'm like, can't do it. And I already feel a tickle in my voice. But it's good. I'll just be healthy. It'll be good. And the other thing also is when you're banging your head on stage, I remember the last show, because it'd been so long for us. I woke up, grabbed my phone, I read it, and the band in the band chat was saying, does anyone else's neck hurt? And I was like, oh no, mine's all right. And then I got up and I went, oh my God. I was like a baby that needed its head supporting. Just like, it was really painful. So I must remember to do all stretches and stuff like that. So yeah, cool. Thank you, Sam. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Callie. Always good. Lots of great people. Really, really appreciate you. Eat honey and take an ice pack and heat pack. Yeah, headbanging is brutal. I don't understand how bands do it when they really go for it. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember when we were playing in Camden. But it's going to feel amazing, and it's going to be new areas of the country. So we're really excited for that, and just, really, really looking, stretching. Because always people think about warming up, but it's always about cooling down as well. Follow my band on Instagram. Obviously, follow me on Instagram. We'll be posting while on the road and stuff like that. I fortunately got a neighbour house sitting, so I don't think he will be doing any live streaming on here and stuff like that. Although I will be back for next Wednesday's show, which is next Wednesday the last Wednesday? It is. So next Wednesday is just going to be Q&A, chill Q&A. So we'll be sure to do that. And during those Q&As, if any of you want to come on cam and chat with me, we should do it. Oh, there you go. See, it happens when you get into it. Thank you very much, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. I will love you and leave you. So have a wonderful week. And love, respect, empathy, and adios till next time. Peace.